People are talking about Dr. Russell Barkley coming to Houston for this virtual event on January 23rd.
Russell Barkley is one of the foremost researchers worldwide in ADHD.
He has dedicated his life's work to research, to clinical work, to being able to really help us figure out what happens when someone has attention deficit, what we can do to help make lives better.
I highly recommend anybody impacted by ADHD consider attending this wonderful event. Dr. Barkley has been around for a very, very, very long time, and the event will be rich with timely information as the pandemic has caused some interesting issues for individuals with ADHD in their careers and otherwise, children in school. So he will touch on a variety of topics that I think are going to be so important. Everybody has so much to gain from attending an event like this. And I'm really excited that he's coming to Houston.
As a clinician, I've relied on Dr. Barkley's executive function measurement scales and his numerous books. I recommend at least one of Dr. Barkley's books to someone almost every day. Taking Charge of ADHD, the complete authoritative guides for parents, for teachers, and for clinicians, that they're all just amazing resources.
I have two sons, and I guess I became aware or interested in ADHD when my older son was diagnosed with ADHD. I'm familiar with Dr. Barkley's books. He's written a number of books about children and adults with ADHD, and they're just very useful. Having a background on the challenges that face people with ADD and what we can do to help them.
Education reduces the stigma, and it also gives us an avenue to get the training we need to help our families and our students and our clients.
Hopefully, we'll take that knowledge and that collective ability to look at it and move forward in ways that might change treatment, might change the way individuals see themselves. So I think there's a lot of power that comes from participating in something together.
When my son was first diagnosed in 1984, my husband had to go to the medical bookstore in the medical center here in Houston to get what was a clinician's book by Barkley on ADHD. That was the only guide we had. So even though I have a master's in education, we were way in over our heads. And that's one of the reasons we got involved with ADA, was so we had support groups and educational events. And I think it's so important that the parents and those that work with them become educated. So it's just a much easier life if you understand it. It's not willful behavior. They're not trying to make everybody miserable, and it doesn't disappear after they're 10 years old.
I think the real value of an organization like ADA is they actually come into your community, and they have these wonderful support groups in many communities across Houston, and not just Houston, but the whole southern region, where folks who are impacted by ADD, ADHD, or other coexisting conditions or related conditions can not just find information, but can receive access in their community to wonderful professionals who can provide advice, either whether it's for children or for adults, or there's a genetic component to ADHD. So sometimes it's for adults to help themselves and to help their children.
Dr. Barkley is also going to speak to clinicians, to educators. There will be continuing education credits offered for professionals who work in the field of ADHD. So it really is a groundbreaking event that's going to help many people.
Dr. Barkley has been an unbelievable pillar for both on the practice side and on the research side. So while there are a lot of professionals in town, in all major cities who work and support families who are struggling or impacted by ADHD and related conditions, it's folks like Dr. Barkley who really bridge the gap and are heavily involved in both research and practice, whether it's about navigating relationships, careers, children, schooling, adults, etc. It's so important to have folks like Dr. Barkley and to attend conferences and lectures by folks like Dr. Barkley so that families can stay on the edge of cutting edge information.
I encourage you to register now for this groundbreaking event with Dr. Russell Barkley, January 23rd.
I'm a parent of a child with ADHD, and I really recommend that you consider joining this conference. It could be a really great opportunity to educate yourself about ADHD.
It's really important for anybody, parents, educators, mental health professionals, anybody that is in contact with people that have ADHD.
See you online Saturday, January 23rd at 9 o'clock.